Hello and welcome back. Alright, so in this lesson we are going to add our sun flare to our image, and we want to do it non-destructively. That way we can go back and make adjustments to the lens flare as needed, whether we need to move it, change the color, etc. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a new black layer, and we're going to use our keyboard shortcut, which is Command plus Shift plus N, and that will allow us to add a new layer. I'm going to click OK, and we have our new layer. Now we need to select another keyboard shortcut, which is Shift plus Delete. Then make sure you have black selected, click OK, and we now have our black layer at the very top. If it's below this layer, then let's say it's right here, we can just click on this layer and drag it up to the top. So anytime you add a new adjustment layer, make sure you have the top level group or layer selected in order to add that new adjustment layer above it. Okay, now we can add our lens flare by going up to Filter, scroll down to Render, and select Lens Flare. From here you have a few different lens type options, so you can go through these and pick the one that you like. And you can also adjust the brightness of that lens flare. It usually starts off at 100 or whatever option you selected last. I'm going to make mine a little brighter, about 115 should be good. We can also move the sun flare so that it matches the position of the sun in our image. I know that the sun is coming from up here in the upper right, but if it's coming from the upper left or the middle, all we have to do is just click on this object right here and then drag it to the location that's going to match with our image. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always adjust it later on if needed, and I'll show you how to do that in an upcoming lesson. So I'm going to leave mine right up here in the upper right. If you're following along with the same image, then just click and drag it up into this upper right corner. Release, and then it's in position. And that's it. All we have to do now is click OK. Our lens flare has been added, but now we need to adjust the blending mode so that it blends in with our image. We're going to go up here and select Screen. And there you go. We can now see our lens flare has been added to our image. And we're going to make one other minor adjustment to make this look a little bit more natural. We can see that the edges of the flare are too perfect. I'm really not keen on having a sharp edge for my lens flare. I want to blur out the edges so that it blends in and looks a lot more natural. So in order to do that, make sure your lens flare layer is selected. Then go up to Filter, scroll down to Blur, and select Gaussian Blur. And then from here you can adjust the radius level. You can click on here, or you can type in a numeric number up here. So just adjust it to whatever looks good for you. If you go too much, then it's going to get rid of most of it. So I'm going to come down here to between 4 and 10. I think 8 looks pretty good. I like that, so I'm going to click OK. And now it looks a lot more natural than it did before. And that's it. Our lens flare has now been added. Pretty simple. And in the next lesson, I'm going to show you some advanced techniques to fine-tune your lens flare a little bit more, make it look more natural. We're going to adjust the lens flare to make it more intense. So if you want something a little bit brighter, more intense, we're going to do that. If your lens flare is over your subject's faces, I'm going to show you how to remove it from the subject's faces in the next lesson. So if you're ready to do that, let's do it.